Sanders seeks to elevate progressive Senate candidates amid Democratic divide. By Caroline Vackel. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, is wading into a handful of Senate races as the progressive wing of the Democratic Party looks to assert its influence. Sanders has endorsed 3 Senate candidates so far. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, a Democrat in the race to succeed retiring Senator Tina Smith, Democrat from Minnesota. Oyster farmer Graham Plattner in Maine. And Abdul El Said, a former local health director in Michigan. His endorsements come as Democrats grapple with competing visions over the party's future ahead of both the midterms and the 2028 presidential race. "We are in the midst of a political realignment," said Joseph G. Varghese, executive director of the Sanders organization Our Revolution. "I think it remains to be seen. Is it the populist right or the populist left that ultimately prevails?" Sanders announced his latest political endorsement this week, weighing in on the Democratic primary for Smith's seat next year and backing Flanagan over centrist Representative Angie Craig, Democrat from Minnesota. Sanders has also weighed in on other races, backing nonprofit founder Rebecca Cook in her race for the seat in Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District. He most recently scored a notable victory when his preferred candidate, Zoran Mamdani, won the New York City mayoral race in early November. Sanders has regularly issued endorsements over the years, and while he has mostly favored progressives and economic populists, he has also endorsed a few moderates, too. But his decision to weigh in on next year's primaries comes at a particularly fraught time for Democrats, who are grappling with competing visions of which direction to take the party heading into 2026 and beyond. It also comes amid a rising generation of younger progressives that includes Mamdani and Seattle Mayor-elect Katie Wilson, which in turn has spurred questions about who will succeed the 84-year-old Sanders to become the de facto leader of the left. The Vermont senator has drawn massive crowds around the country with his Fighting Oligarchy tour alongside Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, leading some to wonder if he is passing the torch on to her. For all these reasons, observers are watching what Sanders does closely. "He is a leading voice inside the Democratic Party," said Mark Longabaugh, who served as a senior advisor for Sanders's 2016 presidential bid. "Because there is such a vacuum of any other kind of leadership, I think that also magnifies where he is," he added. "I think that there are 2 projects going on within the Democratic Party right now," said Lanny Erickson, senior vice president for social policy, education, and politics at the center-left Third Way. Erickson said one project is focused on making Democratic places bluer, while the other is focused on winning purple and red areas. "I do not begrudge people who are focused on that former one, but I do not think they should get confused about which projects they are doing," she said. The divisions within the party were put on full display in early November, when Mamdani won his mayoral race in New York, while moderates Abigail Spanberger and Mickey Sherrill won their gubernatorial races in Virginia and New Jersey, respectively. The fissures within the party became even more apparent when 8 moderate Senate Democrats voted with Republicans to advance a government funding bill that keeps the lights on through the end of January. Though Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, did not vote to help advance the bill, he witnessed a growing call from moderate and progressive Democrats alike to step aside. Some Democrats insist that the establishment wing is in the stronger position. "A lot of Democrats just want to win," said Democratic strategist Josh Marcus Blank, who has worked for moderate Sens. Catherine Cortez Masto, Democrat from Nevada, and Jean Shaheen, Democrat from New Hampshire. "Our voters, to our credit, have often picked a more pragmatic, moderate candidate, and that is how we have ended up with these folks in the general that can win," he added. Jonathan Cott, who served as a top aide to former Senator Joe Manchin, independent from West Virginia, said that the off-year elections underscored that we have a very big tent party. But he noted that Democrats are only successful nationally by winning in the middle, and said Democrats should not be taking their cues from Sanders over whom to endorse, adding that Sanders does not have a track record of electing progressives in battleground areas and has little to show legislatively as a senator. Progressive Democrats are interpreting this moment differently. Amara Sequeira, director of federal affairs for the Working Families Party, said the off-year elections have underscored that a winning message for Democrats is economic populism and affordability. Working people want to vote for people who will lower their costs instead of passing tax breaks for corporations, Sequeira said. Working-class people want to vote for people who are going to fight to lower their health care prices instead of caving to the Trump administration when they have serious negotiating power. They also push back on criticisms of Sanders, pointing out that past Trump-Sanders voters show that the Vermont senator has a unique and broad appeal in places other Democrats do not. They want to make a contesting case, step up and make it, Longabaugh said regarding moderates. I mean, like, I do not see them. I mean, I do not know who they would be. One through line that has connected all stripes of Democrats in recent weeks, beyond a collective agreement to campaign more on affordability and the cost of living, has been an anger directed towards Schumer and Democratic leadership more broadly. Democratic frustration with Schumer has erupted on multiple occasions throughout the year. Previously, he sparked intense blowback after he helped Republicans advance their first government funding bill of the Trump administration at a time when Democrats had some leverage to halt the bill. Schumer's inability to stop a second GOP-led government funding bill from advancing compounded those headaches, while calls for Ocasio-Cortez to primary the senior New York senator have only risen. Leader Schumer is focused on winning the majority in 2026, a spokesperson for Schumer said in a statement to The Hill. 2024 election coverage, 2024 election news, 2024 election polling data, 2024 presidential election forecast. The events have angered some progressive groups, like Indivisible, which for the first time ever is now evaluating candidates on whether they will oppose Schumer for Democratic leader after 2026. There is real anger that Democrats are not fighting hard enough against Donald Trump and his corporate allies, G. Varghese of Our Revolution said. I think that is telling about where the electorate is at, writ large, right? He added. They are looking for a party that will fight and will be relentless.